It is Niina here. You're watching Fairy Chamber channel. Today I'm going to show you how I paint different types of clouds with watercolors. So I will start with these kind of, let's say, basic clouds. So I'm going to use my flat paintbrush. You can also use a thick paintbrush to do the background, whatever you feel like doing, but I like to use my flat brush. So this kind of brush. So I will start by spreading some turquoise watercolor to my paper. And for this first technique you will need this kind of flat brush, paper and a sponge. I like to call them artist sponges. So I just paint with flat wash this paper completely with this turquoise blue. I will put the names of the different supplies that I'm using in the description box, so you can check them out if you please. Just paint the whole paper with water and the color. Just simple strokes to make it, how do you say it? All over, yeah, all over. Alright, I will add one more just with water, just to make it as even as I can. Oh, one more. And watercolor as a technique, when it dries, it's going to be much lighter than the one you start with. So after this is dry, it will be much lighter. So here is the sponge that I'm going to use, this kind of artist sponge. So when you dip the sponge into clear water and start to create patterns, the sponge that has been dipped into water, it's going to create very soft patterns. So I will dip this now into water, and it's now a wet sponge, and I start to create my clouds. And as you can see, these clouds are quite massive. And you can do this kind of scrapping technique with this sponge. And when I add more water, the more white my clouds will be. And the water in the sponge, it's going to create this kind of very soft effects with the watercolor paint here. So here are my first clouds. I will do the same that I did in the first one. So I will paint the background with turquoise, the same color that I painted the other one. Again, use lots of water. this technique is called flat wash. In Finnish we call it laveraus, if someone is curious. So now I have a dry sponge, and when you have a dry sponge you can create more detailed clouds. So I will do like this. These kind of distant clouds. So you need to use a bit more strength now that the sponge is dry, and it won't create that white clouds now that it's dry. So it's almost like using this kind of scrapping, but with this now you can create very detailed, more detailed clouds. But you can see the difference here on the effect. And you can use your sponge in many different ways. As you can see, there are two very different ways to do clouds. Alright, let's move on. Next I'm going to create some thunder clouds, so I'm going to switch the color to somewhat darker blue, and I'm going to also use some crimson red, so I'm creating a dark purple, something like that. Very electric one, electric color. So I'm just start with ultramarine. Ultramarine, and I take some crimson red. It's almost grayish at this point, and this one I think needs several layers, because like I said, watercolor when it dries it's going to be much lighter, and now I'm just applying color to different places, and when I do this the colors runs down, so it creates that kind of rainy effect, and I want to create that kind of like clouds that are like almost dangerous. So I will just apply color wherever I want. Oops, there's some cat hair in my brush. Do you have a cat? Sometimes I get black hair to my paintings because of my Noki boy. But anyway, this is how I just apply some crimson red here, and it creates this kind of cool effect. And just do like this. And now, well, one more layer. And when you want a darker effect with your watercolors, use more color, less water. So I just apply this here and there. And now more red. So in your painting, when you do a landscape, you can just play with it. Just play with it and have fun. So now I'm going to take a paper towel and create patterns with it. And I'm going to dip this towel to water as well, just basic paper towel. So now I have a wet paper towel. I'm just going to create this kind of storm clouds. And this one is approaching quickly, as you can see. And here another one here, and with this you can of course shape your paper towel so you can create different kinds of patterns. Now it's almost like an eraser for watercolor. So the storm is coming, and there is my stormy sky. Alright, let's do another one. Now I'm going to do a rain cloud. So this one has thunder approaching but not rain yet. This one will have some rain. So for this I do the same that I did before. I will use these two colors, ultramarine blue and crimson red, but I'm also going to use some black here as well, because the more water the cloud has, the more darker it is. So I will start again with ultramarine blue, and I will add some of that crimson red, and here I'm going to play with light effects a bit. So I will make this quite light, this lower part here. Just doing graduated flat wash in this case, where the color goes from darker to lighter. So then I'm going to take some black and mix that together with the ultramarine blue. So I will create this kind of storm cloud to here to the top. Storm cloud that is spreading already. So with this you can create some really nice rain effects, of course. Oops. My easel is really old. So this is going to create this kind of dropping effect. Now when I want to create this very dark top, I will use more more color and less water. So there is my thunder approaching. Some more black. And And you know, when the storm is coming and the rain is coming, it doesn't come straight, it comes like with waves. It's like there's a wind there. So here is my rain approaching. More blue here. You can use the sponge for this as well and create this very soft thundercloud here. So this is how the rain goes. It's not really straightforward, and then here you can add some cloud here and make this as dark as you can. So the rain goes from top to down. So we'll let it dry a bit and let's take a better look then. So let's see what our clouds look like after they've been drying. So here's the first one, and it looks pretty nice. Very cloudy. And this was done with the wet sponge. Here's another one that I did with the dry sponge. And I had a little accident when I removed the masking tape. But this is what happens when you don't pay attention and you are removing masking tape too quickly. But anyway, I was going to make it a greeting card, so I will cut it out, so it's okay. Anyway, as you can see, there is quite a big difference when it comes to clouds. And if you think about clouds, they are quite often very soft. And this would be a very cloudy day, or a bit darker day when this is more a sunny day with clouds. Then here is the one I did with the paper towel, the wet paper towel. I don't think it's that stormy that I wanted to. I should have added more darker grey there, but it depends on the painting you are doing. And these clouds, sometimes you can see this kind of clouds in the sky, this kind of, at least in the airplane, this kind of, how do you say it, very fast moving clouds, I would call them that way. Yeah. And here is the last one. This one is still a little bit wet. This is the rain, thunder, and as you can see, here is the rain going down, pouring rain. It doesn't drizzle here, it pours, and the rain is moving to this way. So this is how I paint clouds. I hope you got some tips from it. Thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye!